welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you the most issues about the world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in an hour-long or so podcast. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right. We bring it to you with our unique sense of humor and wackiness. You never know what you're going to get here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
That's right. We have our three segments dedicated to sports, entertainment, and odd news. But, we are a very ebb and flow podcast. We'll go off the rails if we have to.
Definitely. We've been known to teeter. We're very eclectic.
Yes, so we'll see where the night goes here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Before we get into the news at hand, we like to do a little personal bit, let you know what we've been up to since the last episode. So, Mikey, my friend, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. It was my brother John Bruno's birthday this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. Bruno,
yeah.
Our long-lost associate producer. Yep, there you go.
That was a birthday fart.
Oh, this feels so good.
There you go. That's all Bruno.
He is officially in his 30s. He's 31 now. There's no turning back for him.
He's officially 31.
It's official, yeah.
Wow.
And he told me this tidbit. He recently had somebody say that somebody tell him that they thought he was in his late 30s, early 40s.
Oh, what?
He said it's the hairline. I'm like, it's definitely the hairline. Yeah.
Well, yeah. We all can't do anything about our hairlines.
Not everybody can look as good as I do all the time. It's tough.
No, I hear you, Bruno. Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to stay.
Let's just put it this way. It's good that this is a front-on video podcast because the top of my head the hair is so thinned and so balding on top. It's awful.
So, bald guy or balding problems.
Balding, yeah.
I remember a couple times.
How many years do you think we got?
I don't know. I don't know. This is
5,
probably,
6 maybe?
I don't know. This is thinning. But we've talked about it before that our hair is thin on the top. So if we stay outside during the summer,
my
boom,
scalp
just instantly burns.
My girlfriend found this stuff that you just spray straight onto your head, like scalp sunscreen. So I do that, and I have an Eagles hat now that I wear and that's really the only way to combat you don't want to burn your scalp. It hurts. Yeah. Like a bitch if you burn your scalp.
Yeah. I just accept I don't do well outside. I just try not to go outside. I've hit that point now.
Yeah.
I'm just why even try and fight it? Don't go outside.
Everything you want is inside. There's food, there's drink, there's bathrooms, there's TV, there's internet, there's air conditioning, couches to sit on.
Go. The sign that we're old men.
What is there outside? Nature, beauty.
Ew.
What?
That's stupid.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is that it was JB's birthday. He's aging just like the rest of us, not so gracefully, but we had a fun time playing some online video games because he's out in Chicagoland.
Yeah.
And so we played a little bit of It Takes Two. I recommended that a while ago. It's a great co-op game, local or online. Doesn't matter if you're local or online. It always stays split screen, so you can see the other person's screen the entire time because each character has unique abilities, and oftentimes you have to do, you're working on
You're
tasks.
working cooperatively.
Yeah, you're working cooperatively, but with different tools and different abilities so that one person, because one of the big problems with a lot of co-op games is there's always one player who's better than the other player. When I play with my girlfriend, usually I just kind of take over in the co-op games. But in this game, you need both players to play at the same level, and they each have unique abilities that are contributing, all the time. So it's not just one person is Sonic and the other person is Tails.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
And this is the successor to...
This is from the same developer.
No Way Out. One Way Out. No Way Out. What was it?
Oh, I think it's just A Way Out.
Way Out.
Yeah.
No Way Out was a WWE pay-per-view. That's what I'm getting confused.
You're mixing up your video games and your wrestling, I guess. But this is from that same developer. That's their thing now is co-op only experiences, which I love. I love a good co-op
I liked
game.
A Way Out. That was
a lot of fun. Yeah. We played that together.
We played that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's that was a good co-op game. I mean, look, that's a good shtick to have. Especially with everyone.
There's not many co-op games out there anymore. So anytime I see a developer doing something like that, I'm always it's on my radar.
Yeah. So there you go. Happy birthday to our long-lost associate producer, John Bruno. I think it's only fitting that we'll play this in his honor to wrap up this happy birthday segment.
I remember when Michael was a bitch, and now he's still a bitch. Michael's a bitch. Michael's a bitch. He is a bitch. Yeah, you know it. Woo!
There you go. All I
Yeah.
needed was like a test that day or something. I was just setting up the equipment and
Sang an entire song about me being a bitch.
a full-blown song. Like we've mentioned it before. There's like chord progression in that. It goes up and down.
You can tell he'd been thinking about it. Like he'd been stewing on it for a while.
Yeah. There's some thought in that song. So I hope you're happy with that wonderful song.
The thing that pisses me off the most is that it's catchy.
Yeah, it actually works as a
It's
good
like
catchy
a catchy
song.
song. I'll find myself humming it. Like, I'm like, wait, hold on.
I'm a bitch. Wait, what?
It's like, wait, no. But no, happy birthday, JB. Thank you for serenading us through the power of audio recording.
Yes.
But that's that's what I was doing this weekend, being abused
Wow.
by Drummer's audio recordings.
Okay.
No. What were you up to this past weekend?
Yeah, we had a lot of kind of family things happening, so we had to travel around, go back and forth to a couple of different things happening. I think it still did though revolve around sports, so I think I have to just
Why do you sound like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders?
because we got to talk about
Yeah.
the disappointing weekend that was Philadelphia sports in the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yeah, Saturday was a rough day for Philadelphia sports fans. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Things were too good in Philadelphia between the Eagles being undefeated, the World Series run. Everything was going swimmingly for Philadelphia sports fans. It was
We're not allowed to have that many nice things at once.
Yeah, no, and it all came crashing down on Saturday. First off, the Union. I will say right off the bat, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I was definitely rooting for Philadelphia. I was watching that game. I was really hoping that that could have been the start of maybe a Philly turnaround because at that time, Phillies were down 3-2
Yeah.
in the World Series. So I was hoping maybe this could be the spark to get everything going, but unfortunately, the Union lost in extra time to L.A. God damn L.A. because they need more exposure.
Right.
So it was a good game, but unfortunately did not go the way we wanted to at the end. But hey, Union did a bang up job this season. They were the top seed in the Eastern Conference. Had a good run in this playoff run, and got me for a little bit to watch soccer. So that's a win because
That's the biggest win, I think. That's harder than winning the championship because you've been a long time soccer.
yeah.
I don't know. Like I mean, I get it. I'm not a huge fan either.
All right, we've got a little bit of time. I'm gonna just go off a little bit
Okay,
here.
go ahead,
All right,
go
so.
Go off.
It was a good game. Emotions went back and forth. So I had someone text me that was, someone texted me who's a big soccer fan. He's like, now, do you call that boring? And I'm like, yeah, I still kind of do. My problem with soccer, number one, there's not enough scoring. Number two, the field is too big.
Yeah.
Have you ever realized that when you
It's
watch?
monstrous.
When you watch the actual soccer match happening, the field is so big
Yeah.
that all they can do is just pass. Oh, other team got it. Now what are they going to do? Pass. And then you've got the whole thing where, players get knocked down or tackled and they're like, I'm dying. Oh, no, never mind.
Soccer
no, I'm fine.
players are
I'm
great.
fine.
Are great
Oh,
actors.
no, I'm fine. Everything's good. No, sorry about that. Back to the game.
You got to get the yellow card and the red card and the.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's still tough for me. I know.
My thing with soccer is a similar complaint. There's too much downtime. The best soccer I've ever watched is in the comedy Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus. And everyone's like, World Cup soccer's amazing. I'm like, I've watched a few matches. I'm like, yes, okay, I kind of get it. But for me, honestly, it's just a
World Cup soccer. I don't know. See, the last time I watched it was that year where Germany went crazy. That was an interesting year because like everybody was just like everybody wanted to take down Germany, and like they were just like this machine that was just scoring at will. They took down Brazil like 7-1.
I mean,
that was like whoa.
So
that was I watched that.
So
game.
that's a lot of scoring.
That's a
that's
game.
exciting. Yeah.
See, I wish soccer was more like that, where you have all these goals happening.
Yeah, but I mean, I've watched. I've seen a couple soccer scores where it's like 1-1,
1-0,
2-0, 1-0, and I know baseball can end that way, and that's why I'm not the biggest fan of baseball either. I like going, but it's I need a little bit.
Well, they're
more.
going to change that.
One can only hope so.
Yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit, but yeah, more on soccer.
Yeah,
because it's the only time we're going to talk about soccer.
This is it. And it's just another thing for me, and this is my own fault, is just a general lack of understanding of the game itself. Like here in the U.S., like there's just not as much focus on it. Nobody talks about it nearly as much as the other big sports here. So there's just less awareness, less knowledge of the game itself. And so you combine the lack of awareness and understanding with the low scoring, and, it's just...
I wish soccer was more like hockey or something. Because some people
It
say...
needs to have a tighter,
the field is too big.
Yeah.
There's, like, fake, for lack of a better word, like a fake violence. Like, I don't know. To me, hockey is much more interesting because they're on the ice, people are flying up and down the rink.
That's the other thing is
So there's a
soccer
lot
sometimes
more-
is it seems very slow. I'm sure they're running very fast,
But the field is too big.
It's so big, it looks like they're just kind of walking around because, I don't know whether it's camera angles or whether maybe they need like a John Madden type commentator who's like,
yes.
No, I'm serious.
Someone get John Madden. Someone reanimate John.
In all
John
seriousness,
Madden.
the best commentators out there are the ones who explain what's actually happening. Like, I hated him as a cowboy, but Tony Romo as a commentator is great because he explains what's happening. John Madden was great because he explains what's happening, breaking down the plays, explaining what's going on, what the players are thinking about and doing on the field. Nobody's doing that in soccer.
And
They're
how
like,
many times can you
like,
say...
oh, he passes, and he passes back, and now he has the ball, and he passes back, and he passes back. How many times can you hear he passes
Yeah.
before you just mute the TV?
If there was a game to take a shot every time they say pass or something, yeah, you would be dead by the end of the game.
By the end of the game?
Yeah.
By the end of, what is it, quarters? Halves? I don't know.
Halves.
You'd
there's
just be
halves.
dead.
Yeah. No, only hockey is periods.
Oh, okay. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And baseball's innings. So another...
They should standardize it, make
Another weird
everything
thing.
like football. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But no,
Anyway.
about soccer, it was very sad that the union,
And look, I
They
will
lost,
still, look, if Philadelphia's, if anybody wants to take me to a Union game, I will go and I will have a good time. And
you just want to get as close to the casino as possible.
look, I'm not going to say that's a bad idea either. It's not PPL Park anymore. They renamed it. I forget what the name of the stadium is. But look, with the Union Stadium, it is right next to Harrah's. So you
Yeah.
could make it a good time.
It's a fun neighborhood there. You got the stadium, you got the casino, you got the prison.
And you got the prison.
I
There
mean,
you go. It's the Holy Trinity of Chester. What more do you want?
I mean, name a more all-inclusive part of southeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
You can't.
right.
It's amazing.
Has
You got
everything.
It has everything.
Yes.
So sad to hear about the Union. Also sad to hear about, of course, the other team that
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, so the Phillies, they had a good run. Nobody thought they would make it to the World Series.
Yep.
And look, nobody thought they would lead either. At one point, the Phillies were up in this series 2-1.
Yeah.
It looking very interesting coming off of Game 3 back in Philly. But unfortunately, this is why kind of series are valued in sports.
Yeah.
because anything can happen in only one game. You got to admit, this is kind of a little bit of a flaw with football that you can't really fix.
Yeah, I mean, it's where the saying any given Sunday, because anybody can steal one game.
Right.
That's why it's so hard to go 16-0 or rather 17-0 or 0-17.
Right. Anything can happen in just one single game.
Right.
But when you have a best of 7 series, luck is kind of thrown out the door.
Right. You get lucky once or twice, like the Phillies,
yeah,
but not 4 times.
Which, unfortunately, it seems to be the case for the Phillies because the bats were still hot rolling in off of the National League postseason that the Phillies had, but they ran into a buzzsaw after Game 3 because the starting rotation and the bullpen that the Astros were able to finally put together in games 4, 5, and 6 just absolutely shut down the Phillies hot bats there. I mean, it got embarrassing. I think the Phillies go down in history now as the team that has the most strikeouts in the World Series.
Wow.
Yep, they went down swinging, literally.
I mean, you live by the bat, you die by the bat. You know,
Yep.
that's always kind of been the Phillies' way.
Yep. So unfortunately, when the lineup goes cold, that's what happens
that's
with
it, yeah.
especially with a team that's built on kind of the big play home run ball that they were kind of getting known for. I mean, you had Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Just these guys in the top of the lineup, they were just counted on to just hit pounders and home run balls. Well, when they went silent, this team just couldn't figure out to get anybody on base anymore.
It's always kind of been their thing, hasn't it?
Well, definitely more so in this World Series, unfortunately. And yeah, it just came at the wrong time, unfortunately, especially what if, because they went up 2-1.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my gosh, if they could just keep it going for this homestand in Philly.
You got to wonder, if they had stolen a third game there, like if they had gone up 3-1.
Yeah,
I feel like when a team goes up 3-1, it's
a decisive lead.
Yeah, because then you can kind of, not slow it down, but you can be a bit more methodical. You have a little bit more wiggle room, but as soon as they tied it up, then it just seemed like it was all over.
Yeah, well, it didn't seem like things were going to go the right way for the Phillies in this one.
But overall though, still an amazing, successful season because they had no business being anywhere near the World Series.
No, we need to recap. We need to go all the way back.
They were gifted a playoff spot because they were the last team to make it after they expanded the playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
we need to go all the way back to May, June, July of this year. The Phillies had gotten rid of Joe Girardi.
That's right.
They were disappointed in him. So you had Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson had to take over this team with very little head managing experience.
I'm pretty sure at the time you were like, oh, the Phillies are done.
You had Bryce Harper sustaining a serious thumb injury. He was out for July and August, or he was out for half of June, all of July, and like the first week of August. So that didn't look good. You had a pitching rotation that was very suspect at best. I mean, it is quite amazing that the Phillies kind of took this ragtag team and were able to get on this hot run in September and October and go all the way to the World Series.
We were the only team to give the Astros any losses in the postseason.
Yeah, the Astros were undefeated in the postseason.
Maybe we didn't beat them, but we at least were the only team that stood up to them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the Philly way, right? We're going to come in as underdogs. We may not always win, but we're going to give it our best. We're Rocky at the heart of it,
Yeah. It is. You know what? It is kind of a Rocky 1 finish.
Yeah, we lost, but we're scrappy, and we showed that we can go the distance. Like, we didn't get swept, which is what the Astros did to everyone else.
Yeah.
They
swept the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. And we also didn't go down in 5 games because that's, you can steal 1. We got 2.
Yeah. We were leading at one point.
Okay, we didn't take them to 7, but,
the Phillies were leading at one point.
Yeah. They had them on the ropes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? It is like a very Rocky 1 storyline.
How's that for a plot twist? Me with the Rocky reference here in Philadelphia sports,
there
not
you.
Go.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good.
That's something to take home and hang your hat on, And who knows? Next season, seasons after that.
Yeah. We'll see. But there are going to be a lot of changes in this offseason for baseball. Not only is it expected to be one of the craziest free agencies coming up, because there's going to be guys like Aaron Judge that are technically free agents and stuff like that. We're going to have to keep an eye on that coming up in this offseason. We may have more baseball news than you would like to talk about, Mike. But
If it happens, it happens.
But also, there's going to be some significant rule changes next year, including banning the shift. So remember when you had that comment where you said baseball games are 1-0 and are low scoring affairs? Tell you what, Major League Baseball, they heard you, Mike. They do not want it either. They want some high scoring games.
They have to stay relevant somehow.
Yeah,
because I feel like they are just going to get left in the past if they don't do something. I think one of the other big changes they can make is pace of play, more pace of play rules.
Right, yeah, there's going to be a pitch clock.
Thank God.
And you can only do the pick off 3 times, yeah.
Oh my God, that's like my favorite change. I remember one time we went to a game and I swear to God, he tried to pick off the guy at first at like 6 times in a row. The crowd was booing him. I'm like, come on, like I get it, once, twice, come on now.
Yeah. Well, now if you do it 3 times and you don't catch the guy, he gets awarded a base.
Do the fielders get an out 3 times and you're out?
It's almost like that. But yeah, so it will be a different season next year. Also, the actual bases are going to be bigger. I don't know who made that change, but the actual bases.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're going to be.
That's a really subtle way to increase scoring because
right.
then the split second throws and beat them to the plate. Yeah.
More people are going to be safe, so more people are going to be on base. More bases are going to be loaded.
This really makes it tough for pitchers, but for teams like the Phillies,
yeah, it might help.
Might help.
Yeah, we'll see. So yes, it will be a different baseball season in 2023, but we'll see if the Phillies can augment their team and see if they can do another run. But I think if they are going to do it, they kind of need an attitude adjustment. I think they need to get back to small ball. They need some guys that just are good at getting on base. Period. Whether it's a walk, whether it's a little dinger that gets them on, because they were too much reliant on the home run and the big plays. It doesn't work out like that, especially in a 7-game series.
Just back to basics. Just make contact. You don't got to swing for the fences every single time.
Yep. So there you go. Unfortunately, Saturday was a rough day with the Union losing and then the Phillies officially losing the World Series to the Astros. It was rough. But there is one piece of good news in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and
we did get one over on Houston.
And for Mike, that might be the biggest headline. So everything might have worked out for the best with this. And that is the Eagles won their Thursday night game and remain undefeated.
Woo! Mamma mia!
Boobies.
What does this guy think he's an Indian?
Like such as?
Yep, the Eagles remain undefeated, 8-0.
Yeah, they got past their scary Thursday night game. I know it's against the Texans, but I was honestly a little worried because it just screamed of trap game.
Yeah.
Bottom of the barrel team, Thursday night, short week. But the Eagles pulled it off after a very close first half. They pulled away in the second. Just continuing to impress on all sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts had another very solid performance. Miles Sanders had a good game. He showed up. Dallas Goedert really was taking over there in the receiving core, outshining those other receiving threats that we have. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were a little quiet that game, but that's okay. We were working a lot with the underneath stuff. But on the other side of the ball, the secondary continuing to impress. But the big issue that I see going forward for this team that was really exposed in a big way, the run defense.
Oh, good for you.
Listen. I know everybody's caught up with 8-0, right? And that's fine and all, but we have to look at things critically as well. 168 yards on the ground against us from the Houston Texans. This rookie running back, Damian Pierce, 140 yards on the ground. I mean, just
Those damn barbarians have got my eagles.
yeah, just tore us up. Is this a concern for you as well? 170
Those
yards.
damn barbarians have got my eagles.
Yeah, that was kind of the big shocker of the night.
It was very shocking.
I will say though, not to kind of give them excuses, but I think there are some other factors at play here between the fact that the defense was coming off. Naturally Thursday night games are just rough.
Yeah,
they are. It's brutal. I don't. It's a shame because it's one of those things that probably should be eliminated, but it's never going to be eliminated, especially now that Amazon has bought it for like billions of dollars, however much that deal was. So naturally, it's a rough position to be in when you play Sunday and then you got to come right back and you got to hit the field on Thursday night. So it's rough. Not to give it a full excuse, but I guarantee you there is some more fatigue than what would have been a regular standard week-long break in between games.
Especially for defenses.
Yes, because, you're putting your body on the line every play, every tackle. Yeah. That'll get to you.
Yeah.
So that was probably an issue. Also, this Pierce running back, he's legitimately good. The Texans, they found a stud after getting rid of some of their past running backs that have failed in Houston. So he is a legitimate good running back threat this year. So not that I'm saying I'm giving them a pass on this because it was a lot of yardage and there were times when there were definitely some missed tackles and it was sloppy. But the fact that I think the Eagles still were able to hunker down, force some turnovers, especially in the second half to close out the game was really good to see.
I really like seeing the team spread the scoring out over the course of a game. I know that sounds stupid. It sounds silly, but you need to have consistent success. You can't just score all your points in the second quarter and then...
Well, no, that's a fair point because every quarter kind of means something.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this in some of our bets that we've done. And it's also why it's important if you are making bets, scoring in like those quarters and those halves do matter. Like your first quarter, your first half, most of that should be scripted. Most of that is usually the plays that you've practiced leading up to that week.
That first quarter is the script.
Yeah.
That is like what they envision to be the most successful version of the plan going in.
Yeah. What did the coaches come up with?
Right.
That's your first half. Then your second quarter and your second half is the reaction to it.
Right.
And the second quarter is the reaction to it. And then the second half is
the adjustment.
The full-blown player adjustments.
Right.
When they go into halftime and they're conferring with the team, all right, Davis isn't doing good over here. We need to move him to the slot. Billy needs to come over, whatever.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's where you really get the player adjustments happening. That was kind of the thing that Andy Reid wasn't too good at here in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So every quarter does kind of mean something different. So I get what you're saying. It really does actually mean a lot, especially since like the first 6 games, it seemed like the Eagles' only success was only the second quarter, which is just a reaction to the plan from the first quarter.
Right. We need to be able to adjust and adapt as we get further into the season.
Hopefully that made sense. I don't know if that made sense.
No,
because I was also coming at this from like a betting background, so that's how I kind of justify this.
I think it made sense. I feel like people who have a understanding of football probably it made more sense to them. But there
are certain teams they do fantastic in certain halves too.
Right.
Like
some
the
teams
Ravens
are very good at scripting stuff, whereas other teams are better at reacting to things. But you need to have a balance of both to be truly successful.
Usually, yeah. Like the Ravens, off the top of my head, the Ravens are always good in the first half for some reason, and then they break down in the second half.
Yeah.
It's funny how just certain teams that's just how they are.
And there's certain players too who, historically, like just the first person that comes to mind, he's not doing it this year, but Aaron Rodgers was always, somebody who could put together miracle drives. he was always a great
Brady.
like reactionary players that just like
Brady literally did it on Sunday.
Yeah, just improvise, and they're fantastic. At that.
Brady, I think he might have gotten the monkey off of his back. He's back at it. He threw 43 seconds left on the clock. He led a 70-yard drive to win the game.
Some players can do that. Some teams can do that. But the ultimate point here is that it's nice to see the Eagles being able to consistently adjust and react and not just load up all their points in one quarter and then fail to continue to keep the pressure on.
Right. So to go back to the beginning of the year when the Eagles were only scoring in that second quarter, to me, that shows the Eagles aren't adjusting their players enough in the second half.
Right. They didn't have any sort of gameplay adjustment or player adjustment. They just said, hey, we got a lead. Let's just hang on.
Right.
That's not a good way to win in the NFL.
No.
And it seems like...
Especially when you get later on in the season.
Right, exactly. Where teams, some of those early games, we had, like a 12-point lead, a 10-point lead, and we kind of just hung on until the end. Teams are going to be able to come back from that as we get on further in the year. So, it's really good to see the Eagles do that. They still have to clean up that run defense. I think getting Jordan Davis back in a couple of weeks will absolutely help. But the reason why I highlight that as a concern, because the only other teams that are performing well in the NFC are in our division, and they're all really strong running teams.
Yep.
And that's really my concern, is that with the remaining 4 division games, I could see us losing at least 2 of them. And that's, a little concerning to me. I don't think we'll...
It depends on which 2 they lose.
Yeah. I mean, if they lose 2 to the Giants...
Right, then we don't have a tiebreaker.
Right, they're in first. Yeah, we need to steal 1 from the Giants, and we need to... I would like to win again against Dallas, but part of me just thinks like they're going to be the the prove it game. I don't think anybody's going to take us seriously until we beat Dallas with a healthy Dak, which, whatever.
I don't know. It might be the Giants.
You think it's the Giants?
It might be. I mean, because we don't have a track record with them right now.
That's true.
So if we have to, that's the one we have to win one. You have to pull one of them out of the Giants, or else the Eagles don't have a tiebreaker.
So I'm just saying, the second half of the season, we got the Giants twice, Dallas once, we got the Titans. All really strong rushing.
Titans, that's gonna
really strong ground attacks. We could have 4 losses there, guys.
Titans is gonna be the first loss. I feel like.
I think so as well. But if we're going by this lackluster run defense, that could potentially be 4 losses right there. And then all of a sudden, teams are like, hey,
we can catch up to them.
Just run the ball constantly. Just keep Hurts off the field. It's the same strategy used with like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen. But all in all, solid win. Really promising stuff. Jalen Hurts still needs to see a little bit more.
Should I just say he's not the guy then for this week again? Are we officially saying that?
Yeah.
You are not the guy. You're not capable of being the guy. I had a guy, but now I don't. You are not the guy.
There you go.
I'll have my brother agrees. He says that he needs to see more continued success from Hurts before. We got burned so bad by Wentz. I'm not ready to crown somebody until I see consistent results week in and week out.
All right. Well,
I want to see if we can,
Who else are you going to replace him with?
I don't know, some imaginary. I don't know. The next quarterback we draft in the second.
Are we
round.
really? So then we're going to be a QB factory then.
That's what Roseman wants.
Roseman said that, yeah.
Hashtag QB Factory.
Yep,
look, you guys know it's a shtick, right?
QB Factory. All right. Well, speaking of looking into the future, let's get serious. Let's look into this upcoming week number 9. 4 games that we think you should keep an eye out for, and our predictions on those games. There it is. The music is on. What are the games, Mike?
All right. Well, first up, and also it's actually week 10. I made a typo.
Oh, week 10. Whoops,
I made a typo in the rundown. That's my bad. But week 10 is going to Germany.
Sorry, 10.
No, that was my bad.
We're halfway through the season. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we are. We are. And to kick off the second half of the season, we're going to Germany. The Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, this is the German game.
That's right. The Seahawks and the Buccaneers are playing in Germany.
To see the football. Yes.
I don't know anything. Well, you'll be saying Guten Tag, good morning, because this game starts at 9:30 in the morning. Seahawks and the Buccaneers. Who's winning in Germany? Do either team have a home field advantage here? What do you think?
Well, yeah, nobody has a home field advantage here. This is the first game in Germany, I
Yep.
believe. So this is all new territory here for the NFL because one day they're going to take over the world. That's Goodell's plan for
That's
this
the
league.
goal.
Yeah. So get ready. You're up. You're next. Anyway, for this game, for this game specifically, man, I really do want to go Seahawks. I love this story with the Seahawks and Geno Smith having this ultimate FU year to everyone that was doubting him coming in for Russell Wilson. But I think Tom Brady has found his groove again, especially after that close game with the Rams last week where, as I said, he led that 47-second drive to win in the end. The Bucs defense, too, has been actually holding up recently. So if they can get lucky with that defense again, plus Tom Brady reenacting that magic that he has with these fourth quarter comebacks, and also just Tom Brady, you never can count him out. Just when you think you've got him, somehow he finds a way. I'm going to go Tom. Look, it's Geno Smith versus Tom Brady. I can't. I got to go Tom Brady.
I'm actually going to disagree here because I'm looking at the Seahawks and I'm looking at the recent games that these two teams have been playing. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have really been struggling the last handful of games. They lost against Pittsburgh, against Carolina. They did beat the Falcons, division rival. They lost to Baltimore. That's a tough team, but they barely won against the Rams, who are abysmal this year. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are beating good opponents, the Giants, the Chargers, Arizona twice. They're the only reason Arizona's got a losing record right now.
The Seahawks are leading the division right now.
The Seahawks are leading the division and in pretty convincing fashion, and I think they're going to continue to do it here. I mean, Geno Smith just statistically is, outperforming Brady here, more touchdowns on the season. So
it's going to come down to turnovers.
I think it's
Does Geno Smith make mistakes in this game?
Right, because he hasn't really. It's also going to come down to that defense as well. But, I think everything is up in the air here in Germany. There's no home field advantage. It's these weird games overseas, but I'm going with the Seahawks. For some reason, I really like the story here.
See, if this was back in the U.S., I probably would have went Seahawks. But because it's in Europe, I'm viewing that as the wild card. I think Tom Brady's the wild card.
Tom Brady? Okay. All right. Well,
we have the same logic, but we got to two different things.
Yeah. I'm thinking Tom Brady's old, right? So traveling is hard the older you get.
Yeah.
He's got to go through security with his walker. It's like the metal detector's going off,
Whoops.
We'll see. But Rich is sticking with the old reliable. Who's he sticking with here in the battle in the Arctic? The Minnesota Vikings are traveling to Buffalo to face off against the Bills. This could be trouble for the Bills, though, because at the time of recording, we don't know what's going on with Josh Allen here.
Yeah, there's actually a serious rumor that he might have problems with his UCL, which leads to Tommy John surgery, which that could be bad if that's the worst case scenario. Luckily, though, at this point, I don't think it's. I think if it was that bad, we would have heard the diagnosis by now. So I think
right now he's questionable.
Right now he's listed as questionable. So I think he's probably going to get a practice in, and he'll play. I think as long as he's in there, I think Buffalo wins this game. But definitely a situation to monitor because this offense runs through Josh Allen. If he's not there, this could be a big Vikings game for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, if Josh Allen plays, the Bills win.
I think so.
If Josh Allen doesn't, they lose. It's as simple as that because they have no ground game whatsoever. So it really does hinge on that one player. Either way, I'm still going to go with Buffalo. But I got to say here, Rich, you gave me a lot of crap on last week's podcast about the Jets and the Bills game and who won. That's right. That's right.
The Jets are the enemy of decent football. Just good, regular, God-fearing, decent football. We can't have that when the Jets roll into town.
They're really, before the season, you were like, I don't understand why everybody's so high on the Jets. They are, 6-3? They're beating the Bills. They're challenging for first in that division. what is the NFL this year? It's all topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
It's all topsy-turvy.
Yep.
But let's get back to basics. This is a good old-fashioned matchup here. The Chargers are heading into San Fran to face off against the 49ers. Who will win the day in California, Rich?
It's got to be the 49ers. It's got to. The 49ers have too much talent to lose games. I really do think this. I mean,
They just got, what's his name, too?
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey, yeah.
I mean, and they're going to get better, too, because they had a couple of players get hurt earlier in the season. They're going to be coming back as the season progresses. Man, I'm telling you, this is a team that you need to keep an eye on as we get into November and December. The only question is Jimmy G, if he holds up. That's the only weak link on this team as far as I can see in terms of a Super Bowl run. But we'll see. But for right now, there's so much talent on the 49ers. I can't see them losing at home to the Chargers.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent. Meanwhile, the Chargers are looking, not as good as they were last year. I guess you could say the same thing about the Niners as well. But, with getting McCaffrey, that is going to be a big boost for them. Meanwhile, Keenan Allen is questionable on the Chargers side.
He's been hurt the whole year.
Yeah, so, they're kind of just injured and hobbling along. I think at home, you got to go with the 49ers here. I agree. You definitely got to go with the 49ers. But both these teams play in, somewhat tough divisions. These records, I think, are not telling the full story. I think they're both a little bit better than the record indicates. And finally, we have our very own hometown team, the Philadelphia Eagles, hosting division rival Washington Commanders coming into town. We're not going to get the Wentz return,
No.
which is disappointing, but basically, I'm going to say, solidifies my belief that we're going to win this game. I know you like bringing in the gambling stats. We have an 11-point spread right there for the Eagles.
10.5, 11 point
10.5,
spread.
11, yeah. So highly, highly favored. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Eagles at home, Monday night game. I mean, this should be all Eagles.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they cover the point spread, that's a whole different ball game because that is a lot of points to ask a team to cover, especially in a division game. I would personally stay away from it as of right now. But in terms of just outright win, yeah, Eagles should be able to handle this.
All right, well, there you go. Both of us agreeing on the Eagles advancing to 9-0 and officially securing a winning season.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That'll be officially a winning season.
Maybe then Hurts will be the guy.
No, he won't. Michael still say no every week. But there you go. That's our fantastic 4 picks for week number 10 of the NFL season. I got that wrong. So there we go. Fantastic 4 picks over. But one last segment to get to before we wrap up Sports Sampler, and that is the segment where we're going to rush a topic or two in 3 minutes or less with the 3-minute drill. You ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
There it is. 3 minutes on the clock. What do you got?
First up, the Indianapolis Colts officially fire head coach Frank Reich and promote former center Jeff Saturday
What?
to interim head coach. I know, and I mean, this is just weird all around. It has caused quite the minor controversy here as Saturday has no coaching experience. He's never called plays, but that's okay. That's okay because he's recently named 30-year-old assistant to the quarterback quality control coach to call plays. I mean, they're dredging the bottom of the barrel here.
Yes.
For play callers
The
here.
person that is going to be calling the plays every down is 30 years old.
He's 30 years old, but also he's someone.
We're older than this person.
But also, he's not an offensive coordinator. He's not, he's an assistant positions coach.
They might as well should have just yanked somebody from the audience and been like, you're the fan-chosen play caller today.
Whoever the top Madden player in the country is could probably be a better play caller than this guy.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might go on and win. I doubt it, though. And they're also facing a little bit of scrutiny from the NFLPA, who's asking the commissioner if this coaching hire violated the Rooney Rule,
where you're supposed to interview at least 2 minorities for a vacant head coaching job.
But apparently that doesn't apply for in-season coaching hires.
Yeah,
So-
wait, what? So just because the firing happened during the season, Rooney Rule doesn't? That goes out the window?
Seems like a huge huge what do you call it?
Loophole.
Loophole. I was gonna say plot hole.
I mean, it's a plot hole and a
It's
loophole.
a plot hole and a loophole.
I don't know. That's going to be something the NFLPA needs to argue in the offseason. That's ridiculous.
Really is. So, everybody keep an eye out on the Indianapolis Colts. It's wild times over there. They're officially in tank mode, it seems.
Yeah, I think so.
Meanwhile, another team not doing so hot. The Washington Commanders aren't looking for coaches. They're looking for buyers. That's right. The Snyder family have hired Bank of America Securities to explore selling the team. They've been facing increasing scrutiny and pressure from other owners, the public. They have legal battles going on, so they might be looking to get away from it all by selling the team. Although they're just framing it as exploring options. Rich, what do you think here? What's going on?
Finally, Snyder is finally going to sell the team, that dysfunctional franchise. Maybe they have a hope now, but it's still Washington, so I don't know. Especially if Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos buy the team. I don't know how that'll work.
So by that logic, I would want Snyder to remain in control because I've enjoyed just whipping the Commanders every single year.
Yep, but we'll find out who takes over for the Washington football team.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes.
There you go. That's the official closing now for the 3-minute drill.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
and have everything go off at once too. Why not? We can have both.
All the sounds.
We can have both the scream and Sweet Brown talk.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And it's actually
You know-
both the
you know,
same amount of time.
I like that because like the music ends and then like somebody's like screaming, but then Sweet Brown's like, yo, nobody has time for that.
Right. So there
Yeah.
you go. That's the official closing now.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I like that. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any time left in sports. Rich, it's time to. You're not ready with the.
I was just wondering where you were going to go with this.
It didn't seem like you were ready with the music.
I was just like a split second behind. And then,
Okay, I should have just kept going.
Yeah.
I messed up. Anyway, we're out of time for
Do you want
sports.
me to? You got
No,
it?
no, I got it. We're out of time for sports, so we got to head into a break. But don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're hitting you with the entertainment entree and, of course, the non-fortune cookie odd news. We got plenty of show left, so hang tight. We'll be right back.
There you go. Mikey did it. Good job.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip was already coming into play.
yes,
I love it.
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on? That was
I don't
weird.
know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to. Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart
and-
once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder. I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Ooh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. I just realized, we played the Amazon fart promo, and we were inadvertently talking about Jeff Bezos talking that he could be buying the Washington Commanders.
That's such a bad idea.
No, it just means Washington's going to have to play every Thursday night because that's the day owned by Amazon. So
Good. Put the bad team on Thursday Night Football.
yeah, every single Thursday game,
Do it.
make that the Washington game.
But I want to know, do they get preferential treatment in the broadcast? Do they get the flashier graphics? Do they get the better commentators?
Yeah.
What happens here?
Yep.
Because he
He's
owns Thursday
going to
Night
make
Football.
Washington look amazing, and then the opponent is always like the away team.
Yeah, the away team. And they get like Microsoft Word art instead of like a flashy graphic. It's still
Yes.
better than the Eagles' actual word mark.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. No, it's actually just Washington v. the other team.
The other, yeah, right.
Yeah, generic other team.
Classic like Sega and Nintendo football.
Yeah, create a team. All right. Anyway, we got to move away from sports. Sorry, Mike. We have to officially stop football talk, and we need to get into the second part of the show where we're going to go over some movie, TV, video game news, stuff like that in the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You're the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right. Officially starting the entertainment entree with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming week and weekend with movies, video games, TV, stuff like that in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the fine peoples?
All right, first up in movies, the final film in the MCU Phase 4, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, hits theaters this Friday. It's going to be so hard to follow up the last movie, the Best Picture nominated Black Panther, especially after the death of Chadwick Boseman. But the sequel is already getting pretty good reviews, although they are noting that it's obviously not as good without Boseman.
I think it's going to be weird that this is the last movie in Phase 4.
Yeah.
That seems like a weird ending point.
Well, I guess we'll have to watch the film to see what happens. But, you know, I'm excited the fact that Phase 4 is ending and we're going to officially start the next phase and head into, you know, the larger interwoven plot that connects all the movies, because Phase 4 felt very disjointed.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping this film kind of like starts to pull it all together. We'll see how they do it, though, because this movie is dealing directly with the death of the former Black Panther, King T'Challa, as Wakanda must defend themselves against invaders following their king's death. So hopefully this movie will continue the trend of combining those high-stakes action sequences with a moving and ethically gray plot like the first one did. The first one was one of my favorite MCU films.
It was very good.
I would personally say top 10. I just recently watched it again. Still incredibly powerful, very exciting, very fun, and a bad guy where at the end you're like, man, I
wish he didn't die.
I wish he didn't die, right? It's very much a Professor X and Magneto kind of thing, where it's like both sort of working towards the same goal but different ways. And I guess more appropriately, a Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X type, thing going on there. So really good stuff. Go check out Black Panther Wakanda Forever. In TV, in my continued effort to convince people that Apple TV Plus is an excellent streaming service, Mythic Quest returns for a third season this week. This workplace comedy is set at a video game development studio. The show is co-created, written, directed, and produced by the guy who played Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And just last season, the show earned a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so definitely go check it out. It is very funny, very absurd, lots of great dysfunctional characters to get behind. It's a great show. But if you're looking for something a bit new that's shaping up to be a critical hit, check out The English on Amazon Prime. Set in 1980 Wild West, an Englishwoman looking for revenge meets an ex-cavalry scout and member of the Pawnee Nation who is on his own mission for revenge. With different goals, they decide to journey together, heading to the same location in Wyoming, where they discover a possible shared history. Amazon says this show takes the themes of identity and revenge and tells a parable on race, power, and love. So it's got a lot going on. It's got really good reviews so far. Definitely go check it out. That's The English on Amazon Prime. And finally, in video games, the big story here. I'm wearing the PlayStation shirt to represent God of War Ragnarok. Woo! Hitting PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 this week. This is, of course, the hotly anticipated sequel to one of the best games of the previous generation of consoles, and it looks like this one will continue the trend. The game has a 94 on Metacritic across 126 reviews. There are currently 0 mixed or bad reviews. Everybody gave it a good review. God of War Ragnarok has the same stellar combat, has the same no-cut camera fans loved from the first game, all while continuing that touching and sweeping narrative of the first game with Kratos and his son Atreus fighting against the coming of Ragnarok, the end of days. I'm super excited. I will not be playing it this week at launch because I'm hoping that I will get it for Christmas, honestly, so I can save $1 because games are expensive. But for everybody else out there, go pick it up if you can. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I already know it.
Yeah, this was one of the reasons why I knew I had to pull the trigger on a PS5.
Oh, yeah, and you got the big TV and the PS5 all set up, ready for God of War Ragnarok. That's what Rich is looking forward to this week in entertainment.
There you go.
Are you going to finish Horizon, though?
I know.
I mean, what's the countdown timer here? Are you getting God of War at launch? Are you waiting for Christmas? Because when games come out around this time of year, I'm always like, I want to get it, but I'm like, if I can just wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think I may wait until the actual holiday just a little bit, but the temptation is very strong.
It is.
I don't know. I can't promise that I won't.
You can't promise you're not going to be playing it. Play it tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Correct. That is the correct answer.
But
all right. Speaking of video games, I know this is something you're looking forward to. Details of the PlayStation VR headset 2 announced. What do you have on this?
So everybody has been waiting to hear more details on the PlayStation VR 2 launch, and we finally got some details, and it's coming way sooner than people anticipated. It's officially hitting shelves February 22nd, 2023. For a eye-popping $550.
Ooh, that's just as much as the PlayStation 5 console.
More expensive than the PlayStation 5 console. You are getting
everyone just trying to empty our wallets.
Yeah, right. But you know what? You are getting quite a bit for the price tag that comes with the headset, 2 VR controllers, and stereo headphones. And this headset is going to be, from what I understand from the specs that they've released, one of the leading headsets, VR headsets you can get. It's got 4K OLED displays in the eyepieces. It has inside-out tracking, which means that it has cameras on the outside of the headset, so you don't need any extra cameras or sensors set up around your TV. It has eye tracking inside the headset, so it can follow your eyes and kind of render in higher fidelity what you're looking at, opposed to what you're not looking at.
It'll also scan your eyes.
It will it will read your mind. It will
create a clone.
Create sensations you could never imagine.
Between you doing this and then spitting in a tube for the genetic test, the government will be able to create a perfect clone of you.
I mean, who... that sounds like... I mean, like... A perfect clone of me would be amazing because I'm amazing.
Yeah,
so.
But they're going to replace you.
Oh, what?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I'm getting replaced by a clone?
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's what all this is for. Between this and...
Does that mean I don't have to go to work?
I mean, you specifically won't have to.
Okay, fair trade.
But you'll be dead.
Oh.
Because you're going to get replaced.
Oh, wait, they're just going to straight up kill me? They're not just going to, like, swap me out?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Now, if they could...
Kill the spare!
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, sorry.
But no, back to the PlayStation VR 2. Hopefully they won't make a clone of me and kill the original me. Hopefully I'll...
23andMe, that's the thing you spit in?
There's 23... Yeah.
What's the one you spit in?
I think it's all of them. How else do they do it?
I don't know. I just know that seems like the government is collecting your DNA.
So I know... so... I did do 23andMe a couple years ago when there was a sale on Amazon, which is even more suspect. That Amazon.
Oh, how convenient!
Yeah, how convenient.
Jeff Bezos. There you go. Perfect. We're gonna tie this all in. He's buying the Washington football team.
So first, what he did was he collected all of America's spit.
Yep.
And he sampled it. He So he knows exactly what our tastes are. So after he purchases the Commanders, he knows what to sell in the stadium in terms of food. And then he's been scrubbing our browsing history on Amazon to know what things we like to buy, so he knows what ad space to sell for Thursday Night Football. It's all coming together. He's a supervillain.
Yep, it's all coming.
Right?
Yep, he has every single bit of detail now.
Soon Sony will as well, with all the tracking inside the PSVR 2. But in all seriousness, this is some really crazy tech they've got packed into this headset. As somebody who played the first one, and really enjoyed it, I know that I'm really excited for the higher resolution displays and the inside-out tracking, because the worst part about VR previously was having to set up the camera and the controllers having to be in view of the camera. If ever your body blocked the controllers, like if you're spinning around or something, you could have like lags in the gameplay because it can't track either the headset or the controller. But because the headset and the controllers are tracking themselves, you hypothetically won't run into that problem. So I'm really, really excited to try it out. Apparently, it only connects with a single wire. I would have loved if it could have been wireless. I feel like that's like the next big hurdle, is getting rid of that wire to really make it super
but that's
immersive.
a lot of information. I don't think they'll ever be able to make that wireless.
It is a lot of information. You're talking 3D audio. You're talking,
4K,
eye tracking, and it's all at 120
That
frames
almost sounds like going to make you blind. 4K display on each eye.
I can't wait to have it just blasted straight into my retinas and just scorch my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Whoops.
Especially the OLED displays, like right there. Yeah. But no.
Oh, well.
I've been a big fan of VR, and I still think it's like the future of technology, but it's these certain hurdles they have to get over, and that's the price point of entry, $550.
That's
really
lot.
Expensive. The tech is getting there, but they got to make it wireless, and they got to make it cheaper somehow to really have broad appeal and mass adoption. But if you're one of the lucky few, February 22nd, 2023, $550 for PlayStation VR 2. get your pre-orders in now because it's probably going to go just as quick as the consoles themselves. This past year showed us anything.
Yep. So there you go. PlayStation VR 2 coming in February. All right, and one last bit to mention here in the entertainment entree, and I knew this was going to be a topic Mike was going to talk. Mike, I saw this headline. I was like, this is Mike. I'm like, I better get used to this. This is something we're going to talk about. And that was a little bit of an interview where Quentin Tarantino was asked whether or not he would be interested in possibly directing a future comic book movie, whether or not that would have been Marvel or DC. Unfortunately, though, for Mike, I don't think he was very He looked on it very favorably on the opportunity to do so.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Because Tarantino basically just shut it down with this quote saying that, look, you'd have to be a hired hand to do those things. Already very derogatory right there.
Yeah.
And then further saying, I'm not a hired hand. I'm not looking for work. So right there, it doesn't seem like he's ever going to do a superhero movie.
So many things to unpack here.
2 sentences, 3 sentences. That's it.
3 sentences and so much to unpack. So this interview was with the LA Times about his new book, Cinema Speculation, which if you just read the blurb of the book, just sounds so pompous, just like Quentin Tarantino himself. I got to read this just to give context for who we're dealing with here. This is how the book is described. At once film criticism, film theory, and a feat of reporting and wonderful personal history, it is all written in the singular voice recognizable immediately as QTs and with the rare perspective about cinema possible only from one of the greatest practitioners of the art form ever. Like, I get it. He's good at what he does, but
I just noticed his initials are QT.
QT, yeah.
He's a cutie.
He's a cutie. What's not cute is his continued pompous auteur attitude. Now, I'm going to break this down here. So he says,
I just realized this is like 2 of your favorite things going against each other because you love Quentin Tarantino.
I love Quentin Tarantino. He's one of my favorite directors. I also love Marvel, one of my favorite film series.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
So yeah, who wins this clash?
So I don't think I don't think there's a winner. What I can say though is that I think Tarantino is way out of line. Because to say that you have to be a hired hand to do superhero films, I think is discrediting the amazing work that superhero movie directors are doing. So we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming out this week. Are you telling me Ryan Coogler, the director of that film, that first film, he didn't put 110% of himself into that film and really give people an incredible movie? Remove the superhero from it. An incredible movie that speaks to issues that are larger than superhero movies. Are you telling me that I'm trying to think of some of the other ones out there. Like the last Spider-Man movie wasn't just absolutely amazing, or Sam Raimi doing what he did with Multiverse of Madness, giving such an incredible, visual spectacle and such a dark and fun fantasy world. I mean, there's directors out there that are doing really, really great work. I mean, look at James Gunn and how he transformed the superhero genre with Guardians of the Galaxy. Now everything is Guardians of the Galaxy-ified, right? Like every movie after that became more like his movie. Not to mention that Quentin Tarantino already has superhero-esque movies. What else would you call Kill Bill?
Yep.
Is that not a superhero? I know it's a samurai movie and it takes, borrows heavily from that, but I mean, by any other, way of looking at it, it's a revenge tale, it's a samurai movie, but it has a lot of the same pulpy, and yes, that was a pun, action, that you would see in something like, an Iron Man movie or something like that. It's the same kind of vibe. So for him to just write it off as, it's something that a hired hand would do, I disagree. You have lots of great directors and actors and actresses and people working in these superhero movies then I think just writing it off like that is not. I think it's not looking at it in the right mindset, and it's taking a very high on his own supply type attitude when it comes to the auteur nature of film.
I mean, you're also dealing with a guy. He said that I'm only going to make 10 films. Like it's weird. He's like trying to make his movies his currency or something.
I've never seen anybody get up at an award show and be like, normally people thank the actors, but I'm going to thank myself because I'm a great writer. It's like,
yeah, he thanked himself at an award show.
Like, I get it. Like, and here, to be clear to anybody out there who's a diehard Tarantino fan, like, I'm not dissing Tarantino. I'm not saying that he's not an amazing director and writer. I still, to this day, and you can quote me on this, I think he's one of the best dialogue writers in all of cinema. His dialogue sounds like it's just perfect. It's just perfect because it's so natural. It's so realistic. And his beats are amazing. That being said, he's still a pompous jackass. Like, nothing can change that fact. You can be an auteur and still be obnoxious as hell. And I think that's what he's doing right here because, let me tell you something. Some of his recent films, I didn't think they were the best. I think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was very, Hollywood used to be so good, and now it's all trash. And I hate that narrative. I absolutely hate that narrative. You tell me nothing good's come out in the past 15, 20 years?
Yeah.
Come on now. Really, guy?
I mean, there's a lot more sequels and a lot more unnecessary reboots, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing good either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still good stuff coming out. Yeah, sure, there's more sequels and more reboots and stuff. But there's still good stuff coming out. And I just hate how Hollywood is constantly patting themselves on the back for how great they used to be. Well, if you're going to pat yourself on the back for being as great as you were, why don't you go back to doing that? Like, you're in full control of it. Instead, they make money and critical praise off of waxing nostalgic, Is not them patting themselves on the back the same thing as just a reboot? They're like, oh, we used to be so good. They're just reliving the glory days. Trying to get that glory. What did Jerry Jones say?
You
glory
want
glory hole days?
Yeah. So Jerry Jones had glory hole days. Yeah.
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah. He was trying to say glory hall, which is the original term, but he ended up saying glory hole.
And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's what Hollywood is doing right now. But this kind of turned into a mini rant. I think that, for me, what?
Hollywood wanted glory hole days, but they ended up getting glory hole days. Whoops.
Basically. But this kind of turned into a mini rant from me. So sorry for taking all of the airspace for that. But, when I see people diss the work of others because it's a genre they don't like, that bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah. I knew this was going to be a topic for you because it's two of your favorite things colliding against each other.
But I've said a lot on it. What do you think, Rich? Because, I mean, you kind of have a vested interest in both of them as well.
Yeah, but
not as much as me. But
it's one of those things where I'm not surprised by it. I mean, look, we've established that Quentin Tarantino is very full of himself. So it doesn't surprise me that, a Marvel movie is below his standards and everything. And look, he has every right to do so. Look, I support Scorsese too. Scorsese said, superhero movies are lame and everything. So, I mean, everyone's got their own opinions on it. I would personally still say, there's some merit in some of the superhero movies. Are they repetitive? Sometimes they are. Are they getting a little oversaturated? I think maybe, especially some of the things that have been coming out, maybe. But I think you just have to analyze each movie on its own accord, and you just see whether or not you enjoy it or not. And for these directors, if they don't want to take a Marvel project or a DC project, then don't take it, Because guess what? There's going to be other directors that are waiting in line to do so.
Yeah. I just don't like the way that he referred to them as hired hands.
Yeah.
I mean, these are still creatives. I mean, are you telling me that Sam Raimi didn't put all of himself into Multiverse of Madness, or that Ryan Coogler didn't put all of himself into Wakanda Forever?
Also, in today's movie making industry, it's really hard to get your own movies made. So if Marvel comes down and says, "Hey, here's an opportunity to work," you're going to take it.
Yeah.
Not everybody is in the stratosphere with Tarantino and Scorsese where they can just call up a movie company and be like, I want to make my next movie. And chances are they'll be like, all right, we'll give you some funding. Like, not everybody's in that scenario.
You know what I always find interesting is that a lot of these old guard Hollywood type, these auteurs, they always remember how amazing, like, they all for some reason love Westerns. I can't think of anything more derivative than a Western.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Tarantino's like, oh, Westerns. And Scorsese's like, oh, remember the Westerns. And I'm like, Westerns? Westerns is all the same story.
Yeah, why do you think they were called...
a mysterious stranger rolls into town.
Why do you think they were called spaghetti Westerns? You literally shot like 8 of them in Italy.
Yeah.
Because it was just so easy.
It's so derivative. They shot them all in the same spot.
Yeah.
They didn't even, God, man.
Yeah.
How many strange men have to roll into town and cause a ruckus? Get out of here.
There's a lot of strange men rolling into town.
A lot of strange men.
What is happening?
The town worries me. Too many strange men loitering about. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of strange...
What do you guys think, though?
Speaking of strange men loitering and walking through certain towns,
I
guarantee you we're going to have a couple in our next segment, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing these stories for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to first?
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
I don't know why I bother to ask.
Yep, we got Florida here.
Okay.
And you know what? I before the show, we were talking about Waffle House.
Yeah.
I love a good Waffle House visit.
Okay.
That's
right.
fine. That's right up. There's one on the way to Rehoboth from here.
This segment's the only reason I have never eaten at a Waffle House.
Okay, well maybe this might steer you away then. But
no.
Well, I think it's part of the lore of Waffle House. You meet some interesting people, but this one you may not want to run into. Unfortunately, on this one, we're going to talk about the case of 50-year-old Quentin Morton.
I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. 50 years old.
Yep, she's 50 and she doesn't care.
She's kicking.
I'm 50. 50 years old.
Well, according to Florida cops, 50-year-old Quentin Morton decided to steal multiple wallets in the Waffle House. Altogether, she was able to get away with 12 credit cards and $2,286 in cash.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd buy that for $1.
She was recorded on security camera footage, which was how she was caught. She would try and pickpocket most of them. She had some discretion, so she was also monitoring which ones were, had some, I guess, bigger bills, which I think is impossible at Waffle House because a waffle is like $2.99.
Somebody's just rolling up with like hundreds of dollars to Waffle House.
There's your first mistake. Who is rolling up to the Waffle House with this much cash on you?
Just a wad of cash and like, give me all the waffles.
Yeah, give me all the waffles you have.
It's $39.
Sir, we only have 15 waffles. That's fine. Ring me up $30. Like, how do you roll up to the Waffle House with this much cash?
I don't know. But like, so she's like staking out the people at the Waffle House. Like,
yes.
Like that seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does seem like it, and I don't think you'd be getting that much success.
Yeah, but she walked away with what, $2,200 or
over the total here.
Yeah. She was able to pickpocket that many wallets?
Yeah.
That's impressive. What are these people doing in Waffle House that she's able to steal that many wallets?
I guess you're just happy on waffles.
You're just like, you're so invested in your waffle. You're not paying attention to the hand like creeping into your pocket.
I mean, I might be guilty of this. I got to check when I leave the Waffle House now. Do I have my wallet on me? Because I love Waffle House.
Are the waffles that entrancing? You get so sucked into the waffle that everything else around you, the world fades away, and all you see is syrup and fluffy deliciousness.
So I love the waffle, but what I really love is the hash browns.
Okay.
I love the Waffle House hash browns.
You're making me want to eat at a Waffle House, but then I hear stories like this, and I'm torn. I don't know what to do.
I'm giving you the pros and cons of eating at a Waffle House.
Oh, man.
There's only like 5 items. They're all really good.
All right, where's the closest Waffle House?
But you may get your wallet stolen. So there's your pros and cons.
It's a balancing act.
Right. So you might be wondering, how did she exactly pull this off? Apparently she works at a nursing home right across the street. So
Okay.
I guess when everybody was put to bed, I don't know. I guess that's when she found time to monitor the Waffle House.
I guess. Weird.
Oh, Mrs. Wilson went to bed. All right, time for me to scoop out the Waffle House. Here we go. Let's see who's in there. Crank up the binoculars. I don't know.
So that's so weird.
Yep.
This is like a lot of effort, a lot of surveillance.
Yeah.
Just to steal some wallets.
Police arrested her, and when they confronted her about her crimes at the police station, she then made up this interesting excuse, because I know you love weird excuses. She said, quote, "The money told me to grab it."
So the money is speaking to her.
Yes, the money is now saying, hi, how you doing?
I declare bankruptcy!
Yeah.
Is that what the money says?
Just, help! This person's bankrupt. I'm better in your possession.
The money was calling to her. It spoke to her.
Yeah. I don't know. Does that indicate like a spirit? I don't know. Are you saying, or is the money its own entity?
Like, is the money? I don't know. Is the money possessed? Like,
hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
Yeah. Is it a demon? I don't know.
It's me, your boy.
Right. Please help me. I need. This guy doesn't know how to spend me.
I'm standing near your hole, and it's very dark.
I mean, the hole of the pocket.
Multiple holes.
Multiple holes.
Yeah, it's very important. So that's an interesting one. I never heard that before. The money actually is telling me to grab it.
The money spoke to her and told her to grab it. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Well, the cops aren't taking any of this ridiculousness.
I don't think
they
so.
threw a felony grand theft charge on her.
That makes sense.
So she's going to be facing some serious jail time if convicted. So good luck with that. I don't think that will hold up very well in court.
Man, I just can't believe that much energy and surveillance went into stealing wallets at a Waffle House.
Yeah. I guess, I guess at the time, I guess she was pickpocketing the correct ones that had money on them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But who's rolling up to Waffle House with like stacks?
Maybe, I don't know.
A waffle is like $2.99.
But what happens if maybe they were coming back from somewhere, and or maybe they're hitting up Waffle House before going to somewhere, like they're going on a really expensive shopping trip. So they just have a couple $100s on them, but they're like, oh, if I'm going to spend that much money shopping, I got to go easy on, I can't spend a lot on breakfast, so I better go to Waffle House.
I don't know. Weird logic.
They're living a weird double life.
Yeah. All right, so we had that story, but you know what? I got to end it on a truly ridiculous story. That's not
okay.
That's like a good ridiculous story, but we could do better, right?
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to crank up the weirdness factor here. Another Florida story.
Okay.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
And this is just a simple story. This is why I saved it to the end. It's just 2 sentences and a picture. That's how you know this is good.
Oh, no.
2 sentences and a picture.
All right.
That is because the TSA officially announced on their social media pages on Monday morning that one of their federal officers that was doing a routine inspection on a prospective air traveler discovered an interesting way to try and conceal a weapon.
Oh, no.
They decided to try and put the gun they were trying to sneak onto the plane inside a chicken inside of their luggage.
What?
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Why? So when you say
it's like a turducken, but instead of a duck and
instead of
chicken,
stuffing, it's a handgun.
It's a handgun in the middle of it. Yeah.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
When you say chicken, you mean like what? Like an actual like a whole chicken? Like that? Like
I'm talking about a raw chicken. Are you curious? Are you curious to see my good friend Michael Costanzo?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Because, of course, something this good that gets posted on social media would not have an accompanying picture. And here you go. There it is. The plastic bag that you see inside the chicken is the gun. And on the right is the full picture of the gun they pulled out at the TSA inspection area.
This is so stupid because they're like, what's a completely normal thing that the TSA definitely won't want to check?
A raw chicken.
An entire raw chicken, which you can't, I don't think you can travel with raw food.
No, I don't think so either.
Like, what? Why? And you just put it, what, hold on, wait. What did they put the chicken in? Was it just in a plastic bag? What is that?
Yeah, it looks like a plastic bag.
They just shoved this thing in an Acme bag. They tied it off, and they threw I'm more concerned. The gun, whatever. People sneak guns in there. I'm more concerned about the chicken at this point.
What, you're worried about airborne illness?
No, I'm seriously considering like what a person is thinking to bring a raw. Why was that the thing to hide the gun? The raw chicken.
Well, the chicken was then in the luggage.
Right.
So maybe they thought burying the chicken would make it, I don't know, just make it look like it was another element in the luggage.
But like your TSA, you're like, okay, you got books, you got clothes, is that a chicken? Like you're pulling that piece of luggage,
Sir,
right?
Is that a chicken?
Like if you were working TSA and you saw a chicken, you're searching that.
Yeah.
Like 100%, right?
I would imagine. Yeah, that can't be allowed.
But where are you going with the chicken? I mean, obviously the chicken was just used to hide the gun, but...
Oh, for those that are wondering, this happened at the TSA at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, which is in Florida. So, yes, this is a Florida story.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
So, yes, it's official. This is Florida.
I flew out of a small airport in Fort Lauderdale once.
It might have been this one.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a big airport. It was like a tiny airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'm so concerned about the chicken because I want to know.
Maybe he thought the gun in the chicken would hide the gun, and then the chicken would be just like a mass, And like it's like, oh, it's another traditional item in your luggage.
Everybody brings their plain chicken. Like I don't.
Yeah, you get hungry, just reach
But
in.
also, like I'm
reach on in, get your plain chicken.
Just grab your plain chicken. I've brought food on a plane, but not like an entire raw chicken. Like what was the plan? Like, oh, I'm gonna cook myself some dinner when I get wherever I'm going. Like,
yeah, they have a microwave on board, right?
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
You call the flight attendant, you're like, hey, this is a weird request. Can you just toss this in the microwave? You just hand them an entire raw chicken.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Have fun. 3 minutes.
I am just baffled by people in general. That one, they felt the need that they had to get this gun onto this plane. But then, two, they thought that putting it in a raw chicken was the best course of action.
That was going to do it.
That was going to do it. This was carry-on luggage, or was this luggage that was being checked? Do we not know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because, like, I really want this to be carry-on so that it's, like, going through
Oh, my God. It was carry-on.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Oh, my God.
That's why I'm so concerned about the chicken. You understand why I'm so annoyed about the chicken now.
He thought he was going to get away with this.
He put a raw chicken in carry-on luggage. He put an entire raw chicken and a handgun in carry-on luggage.
Yes. He thought he was going to get away with it.
I'm so mad at this person right now.
Look,
I don't understand.
The last time I flew on a plane, I left a bottle of eye contact solution.
Was it over 3 ounces?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're a terrorist.
Yeah,
And this person thinks they're going to bring an entire raw chicken with a handgun stuffed in it.
Yeah. I had eye contact solution. And they were throwing me to the wolves.
I forgot I had a bottle of water in like one of those like mesh pockets on the side of my backpack. You thought I had just tried to bring a hand grenade into the airport.
Yeah.
They're like, sir, you can't have that. And I'm like,
step away from the luggage.
I'm like, what? Your water.
Step away from the bottle of water.
Meanwhile, this idiot has a handgun. I bet you anything the handgun was loaded. Because... That handgun was absolutely 100% loaded because when you're stupid, you're stupid. Like this guy was all the way stupid.
Yeah.
Not just like an oversight. Man, a raw chicken. But like, he's packing up and he's like, honey, get the chicken.
Honey, get the chicken. I need to try and hide this.
He just shoves it in a bag, and just ties it off, and nestles it in in between his clothes.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah, he's like rolling the shirts and rolling the pants. He just sticks the chicken in there. You don't have a lot of room in carry-on, and half of it's taken up by this raw chicken. Was it frozen? Was it defrosted?
It was enough for a snack.
It was enough for a snack.
It might be a long flight wherever you're going.
Yeah. Where were they flying to? Oh my God. But isn't it going to start going off? It's just in your luggage for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. See, this is when you needed to come to Philadelphia and join up with the rotisserie guy that ate the 40 rotisserie chickens.
I thought that was going to be the story of the week.
No, I had a better chicken story for you.
That's weird because
welcome to the Crispy Noodle podcast. You think I'm going to throw you a certain chicken story? Guess what? I found a different chicken story.
Just when you've thought you've heard the weirdest chicken story, here comes Rich with his own chicken stories. Oh, isn't it weird? There were 2 chicken stories that could have qualified for odd news.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Take that.
Amazing.
So,
chicken the weirdest odd news food then, maybe.
So far this month.
So far. Dude.
Yep, so far this month.
Unbelievable.
And there you go, folks. That's what I have for you in the non-fortune cookie odd news. The chicken story that you weren't expecting.
We had chicken tonight for dinner.
You all thought I was going to talk about the Philadelphia chicken man, didn't you?
He got us.
No, I got you a nice curveball right there. Thank you, Florida.
Yeah.
Me and Florida provided a nice curveball for you.
Amazing.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Although, shout out to that guy that ate the 40 rotisserie chickens. That is amazing.
It's incredible. That's true Philly pride right there.
Yes. But Florida, man. Florida has
Yeah, you can't top that.
Yeah. So, there you go. That is the non-fortune cookie odd news. We are subverting your expectations when it comes to odd news chicken stories.
What a plot twist.
That's right. And with that plot twist, that is a satisfying way, I think, to end this episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But most importantly, make sure you find a way to subscribe to our show, whether that is subscribing on our YouTube channel so you get that notification sent to you every Wednesday night, whether that is Facebook Watch so that you get that as well, or on Spotify, where not only do you get the episode as a video podcast, but you can play Spotify in the background and you can listen to us as a regular podcast as well. And you can also take us on the go with Spotify as well. So it turns into a podcast you can listen to through your car speakers. You can take us on the go. So even though we've made the jump to video, there are still plenty of ways that you can enjoy our show every week.
That's right. No excuse not to find a way to check out the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Maybe listen to us while you're eating your plain chicken. While you're on your travels.
Yes. Are you eating plain chicken?
Are you eating plain chicken? Let us know by reaching out to us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Twitter. If you have any odd news stories you want us to talk about, send it my way. If there's a chicken story.
Hashtag chicken news.
Yeah, if you want us to keep talking about chicken, send it my way. And if we use your chicken story, we're going to give you a sausage shout out. None of this makes sense anymore.
We're a very confused culinary podcast.
Yeah, we're called the Crispy Noodle.
We have crispy noodles, but we only feature chicken stories and we give you sausage shout outs.
Nothing about
But
this.
Rich wants to go to Waffle House where he gets the hash browns.
That's it. It's official. Nothing about this show makes sense anymore. So make sure you tune in every week to find out how we're still going to break the rules of our own show. Fantastic.
Oh, man.
There
we
you
do
go.
have fun here.
Yes. So make sure you join us for the ride. But for right now, let's wrap it up. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye. All you fine chicken people. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.